My family forgot my birthday every year this time. I forgot their anniversary surprise. They yelled, "How could you?" So I revealed. The invitation arrived on my birthday. Again, no one remembered. Not even my daughter Paisley. Though I knew she'd feel terrible once she realized. I stared at the thick cream envelope with its gold embossing, running my fingers over the raised letters, announcing my parents' 50th wedding anniversary celebration. How fitting that it should arrive today, on my 48th birthday, when the house was silent, except for my cat purring on the windowsill. My name is Gabriella, and I've spent 3 decades watching my family celebrate everything but me. Mom? Paisley's voice startled me as she burst through the front door. Oh my God, Mom, I'm so sorry. I just remembered what day it is. She dropped her bag and rushed to hug me, her long dark hair tickling my face. I was so caught up with finals. It's okay, sweetheart, I said, though we both knew it wasn't. You're here now. She pulled back, her eyes landing on the envelope in my hands. Is that your grandparents' anniversary invitation? Yes. I forced a smile. The big 50. Are they serious? Sending it on your birthday? Paisley grabbed the envelope, her face darkening as she read. They want you to give a speech again, after they've forgotten your birthday for what? The 30th year in a row. 28th, but who's counting? I tried to laugh it off, but my voice cracked. The phone rang, making us both jump. My mother's name flashed on the screen. Prudence calling to discuss the anniversary? Paisley asked, her tone bitter. I nodded, letting it ring. Remember last year? Paisley sat beside me when Uncle Trey's wife Vanessa tried to convince everyone they should sing happy birthday to you during the anniversary toast. And your grandmother shut it down because it would detract from the celebration, I finished. How could I forget? The phone stopped ringing, only to start again immediately. This time, it was my sister Marlo, probably already coordinating with Mother from her fancy apartment in London. You know what? Paisley grabbed my hand. Let's go out. Right now, let them wait. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed with a text from Trey. Mom's trying to reach you. Important anniversary planning meeting tonight. Don't be difficult. I showed Paisley the message and she rolled her eyes. Don't be difficult. That's rich coming from the brother who forgot to invite you to his own wedding rehearsal dinner. He didn't forget, I corrected. He assumed I wouldn't want to come because I was busy writing my little stories. The phone rang a third time. My father, Roy, now. 3 calls in 5 minutes, I mused. Must be urgent anniversary business. Ignore them, Paisley insisted. Let's celebrate you for once. I stared at the invitation again, at the elaborate request for me to deliver the anniversary toast. A tradition I'd maintained for 15 years. Every year I stood before our extended family and friends, weaving beautiful stories about my parents' enduring love, while swallowing the bitter truth of my own invisibility. The phone buzzed with another text, this time from Vanessa. Your mother's getting upset. Please call her back. You know how she gets about these things. I do know how she gets, I whispered, more to myself than Paisley. She gets exactly what she wants while I gestured to the empty house, the forgotten birthday, the demanding invitation. Paisley squeezed my hand. Mom, you don't have to do this anymore. Something shifted inside me then, like a key turning in a long, rusted lock. I looked at my daughter, really looked at her, and saw the fierce protectiveness in her eyes. The understanding that ran deeper than obligation. You're right, I said slowly, a plan forming in my mind. Maybe I don't. What are you thinking? I picked up the invitation, running my thumb across my mother's perfectly scripted demands. I'm thinking it's time for a different kind of story. My phone lit up again. Another text from Trey. Meeting starts at 7. Don't make Mom wait. I turned to Paisley, feeling lighter than I had in years. How about that birthday dinner? She grinned. Really? Really? And afterward, I glanced at my laptop where my nearly finished memoir sat waiting. I think I finally know how to end my book. As we grabbed our coats, the phone rang one final time. I let it go to voicemail. My mother's clipped tones filling the silence. Gabriella darling, we simply must discuss the anniversary arrangements. Do call back immediately. You know how important this is to the family. Paisley and I shared a look as we headed out the door. For once, I didn't feel guilty letting the call go unanswered. After all, they'd had no trouble ignoring me for 28 years. Maybe it was time they learned how it felt. The morning after my birthday dinner with Paisley, I walked into my home office to find a leather-bound photo album placed deliberately on my desk. My mother's signature passive-aggressive touch. She must have dropped it off last night while we were out. I flipped it open, and there they were. 49 years of perfectly orchestrated anniversary celebrations. My fingers traced over the images. Mother in her designer gowns, father in his tailored suits, both of them beaming at the camera while holding crystal champagne flutes. My phone buzzed. Speak of the devil. Gabriella, why weren't you at the meeting last night? Mother's voice cut through the line. I was celebrating my birthday, Mother. I kept my tone neutral, continuing to flip through the album. A pause. Oh, was that yesterday? Yes, just like it has been for the past 48 years. Another pause. Well, darling, you know how busy things get this time of year. Now, about the anniversary. I found the photo album, I interrupted, stopping at a particular photo from their 35th celebration. Interesting choice of pictures. Isn't it wonderful? I thought it might inspire your speech. You always do such a lovely job capturing the essence of our family's legacy. I stared at the photo. Trey stood proudly beside our parents. Marlo elegantly posed on their other side. I was technically in the shot, barely visible in the background, trying to help a waiter clean up a spilled drink. Our legacy, I repeated softly. Yes, these photos certainly capture that. The doorbell rang, saving me from more anniversary talk. Someone's at the door, Mother. I have to go. But we haven't discussed the. I hung up and opened the front door to find Vanessa standing there looking uncomfortable. Your mother sent me, she said, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. She's worried you're going to make things difficult. Define difficult, I said, leading her to my office. Vanessa spotted the photo album. You got it. Look, Gabriella, I know things aren't always perfect, but this anniversary means everything to your parents. I opened the album to their 40th celebration. Do you remember this one, Vanessa, when I had pneumonia but Mother insisted I give the speech anyway? She shifted uncomfortably. You handled it beautifully. I collapsed right after. Trey had to drive me to the emergency room. And your speech was still the highlight of the evening, she offered. As if that made it better, my phone buzzed again. Marlo this time. Mother's in a state, what are you playing at? You know what's funny? I said to Vanessa, ignoring the text. In all these photos, in all these celebrations, there isn't a single shot of anyone celebrating my birthday. Not one in 48 years. Gabriella. Did you know Paisley found my mother's birthday calendar last year? Every family birthday is marked except mine. I closed the album firmly. Even my own daughter's birthday is there, but not mine. Vanessa reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Your mother means well. She's just your mother. Yes, she is, and I'm just her daughter. I walked to my desk and picked up my laptop. Would you like to see what I've been working on? Your new book? Vanessa perked up. Mother mentioned you were writing another memoir. I opened the document and turned the screen toward her. Her eyes widened as she read the title. The Art of Invisibility, A Daughter's Guide to Being Forgotten. Gabriella, you can't what? Tell the truth? Her face paled. This will destroy them. The anniversary will go on as planned, I assured her. I just won't be giving the usual speech this year. What are you going to say instead? I smiled, closing my laptop. Nothing. I won't be there. You have to be there. It's tradition. Vanessa stood up, flustered. What will people think? They probably won't notice. After all, I'm usually in the background anyway. Vanessa grabbed her purse, heading for the door. I have to tell your mother. Go ahead, I said quietly. She probably won't remember this conversation anyway. After she left, I returned to the photo album. Behind the last photo, I found a handwritten note from my mother. Darling, use these memories to craft something special for the celebration. Make us proud. My phone buzzed with a text from Paisley. Just ran into Aunt Vanessa. She looked upset. You okay, Mom? I typed back, never better. Want to help me write a different kind of anniversary speech? Her response was immediate. On my way with coffee and determination, I closed the album and placed it in my bottom drawer. For years, I'd crafted beautiful lies about my family's perfect love story. This year, I would tell a different story, the true story. Let them see how it feels to be the ones forgotten. The prodigal sister returns. Marlo's voice rang through my house as she let herself in, designer heels clicking against the hardwood floors. I hadn't seen her in 3 years, but her timing was impeccable. Just as I was finishing the final chapter of my memoir, Don't You Knock Anymore, I called out, quickly saving my document. Darling, we need to talk about this little tantrum you're throwing. She appeared in my office doorway, looking exactly as she had when she left for London. Perfectly coiffed, expertly styled, and thoroughly judgmental. Tantrum. I kept typing. Vanessa told me about your plans to skip the anniversary. She perched herself on the edge of my desk. And apparently you're writing some sort of exposé. It's called a memoir, Marlo. You know, like the other I've published? The ones about other people's families? She picked up a framed photo of Paisley from my desk, not ours. I stopped typing. Put that down. She set the photo back with exaggerated care. Mother's beside herself, she's had to reschedule the entire seating arrangement. How tragic. Don't be petty, Gabriella. It doesn't suit you. Marlo leaned forward, lowering her voice. What do you want? More attention. A special mention in the toast. We can arrange something. My laptop pinged with an incoming email. I opened it, reading aloud. Dear Miss Hicks, We are thrilled to express our interest in your memoir, The Art of Invisibility. Your powerful exploration of family dynamics and emotional neglect resonates deeply. Marlowe's face tightened. You've already submitted it 2 weeks ago. I closed the laptop. Publication date is set for next month. The anniversary is next month, is it? I must have forgotten. Marlowe stood up, her composure cracking. You know what your problem is? You're too sensitive. Always have been. Remember when you cried because I got a car for my 16th birthday? And you got a journal. The journal was 3 months late, and it was a re-gift from Mother's Book Club. See? Sensitive. She waved her hand dismissively. Some people just aren't meant to be the center of attention, Gabriella. You should accept that. The front door opened again, and Paisley's voice called out, Mom, I brought lunch. Marlowe's eyes narrowed. Your co-conspirator arrives. Paisley appeared in the doorway carrying takeout bags. She froze when she saw Marlowe. Aunt Marlowe, you're here. Hello, dear. We were just discussing your mother's latest literary venture. Paisley set the bags down, her voice cool. You mean her best work yet? The one that's already getting buzz from publishers. The one that will humiliate our entire family, Marlowe countered. The truth can only humiliate people who deserve it. Paisley shot back. Careful, dear. Loyalty is admirable, but you wouldn't want to alienate the whole family. I stood up. Don't threaten my daughter, threaten. I'm trying to help. Marlowe pulled out her phone. I'm texting Mother. This has gone far enough. Go ahead, I said. Tell her I'm being difficult again. Tell her I'm too sensitive. Tell her whatever you want. It's going in the book anyway. Marlowe's fingers stopped moving over her phone. What exactly is in this book? Everything. I opened my laptop again. The forgotten birthdays, the dismissed achievements, the time you all went to Paris for Christmas and forgot to book my ticket, the family photos I'm mysteriously absent from, the gaslighting, the constant reminders that I should be grateful just to be included. Those are private family matters. Not anymore. I turned the screen toward her. Want to hear chapter 7? It's about the time Mother told my publisher that my first book was just a hobby at her 45th anniversary party. Marlowe's phone buzzed, probably Mother demanding updates. She ignored it, her face pale. You can't do this. Actually, Paisley chimed in. She can and she should. You're making a mistake, Marlowe warned, heading for the door. A massive family-destroying mistake. After she left, Paisley turned to me. You okay? I nodded, returning to my manuscript, just finishing the epilogue. What are you writing? I read aloud as I typed. Sometimes the greatest act of self-love is simply making yourself visible. Sometimes the hardest truth to tell is your own. And sometimes the only way to be heard is to stop speaking altogether. Paisley squeezed my shoulder. Perfect. My phone lit up with messages. Mother, Marlowe says, you're being unreasonable. Father, don't upset your mother. Trey, whatever you're planning, don't. I turned off my phone and looked at Paisley. Ready to help me write that dedication page? She grinned. To the family that taught me the importance of being seen, by showing me what it feels like to be invisible. Perfect, I said, and started typing. The pre-anniversary dinner was Mother's idea, a small family gathering to sort things out. I knew better, but here I sat at their formal dining table anyway, pushing food around my plate, while everyone pretended everything was normal. More wine, Gabriella. Mother held the bottle poised, her smile tight. You've barely touched your glass. I'm fine. You look tired, dear. Are you sleeping enough? She poured anyway, filling my glass to the brim. Writing can be so draining, can't it? Trey cleared his throat. Speaking of writing, how's the new book coming along? The table went silent. Even the clinking of silverware stopped. It's finished actually, I said, meeting his gaze. Final edits were approved yesterday. Wonderful. Mother brightened. Will we get advance copies for the anniversary party? We could display them on the... I don't think that's appropriate, Mother. Marlowe cut in, shooting me a warning look. Why not? Father spoke for the first time, looking up from his plate. Gabriella's books are always a point of pride for us. I couldn't help myself. Are they? When was the last time you read one? More silence. Vanessa jumped in, ever the peacekeeper. I loved your last book, Gabriella, the one about the immigrant family in Detroit. Thank you, Vanessa. Did you enjoy the part about the mother who actually remembered her daughter's birthday? Mother's wine glass froze halfway to her lips. Really, Gabriella, must you? Must I what? Write about functional families. Sorry if that offends you. That's enough, Trey snapped. We're here to discuss the anniversary celebration, not your literary career. My literary career pays for half these celebrations, I reminded him. Or did you forget that too? Here we go, Marlowe sighed. The martyr act again. Paisley, who'd been quiet until now, slammed her hand on the table. Stop it, all of you. You sit here acting superior while treating my mother like she's nothing. Paisley? Vanessa reached for her hand. No one thinks save it, Aunt Vanessa. Paisley stood up. I've watched this my entire life. You all take and take from her, expect her to show up, give speeches, write checks, play her part. But when was the last time any of you showed up for her? We're her family, Mother said firmly. Everything we do is for family. I laughed, a sharp bitter sound that surprised even me. Family, last week was my birthday again. Where were you all? Oh darling, you know how busy things get during anniversary planning. Mother waved her hand dismissively. I was in London. Marlowe added. Had a business meeting, Trey mumbled. Father just looked confused. Was it really last week? See? I pushed my plate away. This is why I'm not giving a speech this year. Mother's face darkened. You most certainly are. It's tradition. Like forgetting my birthday is tradition. For God's sake, Trey exploded. It's just a birthday. Stop being so dramatic. Dramatic. I stood up slowly. You want to see dramatic? Check your email. I sent you all advance copies of my memoir an hour ago. The sound of phones being pulled from pockets filled the room. I watched their faces as they read the synopsis, the color draining from their cheeks. Mother's hand shook as she read aloud. The Art of Invisibility explores the subtle cruelty of emotional neglect through one daughter's journey of surviving a family that perfected the art of forgetting. You can't publish this, Trey whispered. Already done. Release date is set for your anniversary actually. I smiled. Funny how I remembered that date perfectly. This will ruin us, Marlowe hissed. Our reputation. Your reputation, Paisley interrupted. What about her heart? What about 30 years of making her feel worthless? Mother stood up her chair, scraping against the floor. I will not be painted as some sort of monster in your little book. You painted that picture yourself. I replied quietly. I'm just holding up the mirror, Roy. Mother turned to Father. Say something. Father looked at me for a long moment, then back at his plate. Pass the potatoes, please. Unbelievable, I whispered, grabbing my purse. Come on, Paisley. We're leaving. Gabriella. Vanessa called after me. Please, we can fix this. I turned at the door. That's the thing, Vanessa. It was never broken. This is exactly how everyone wanted it. Everyone except me. As Paisley and I walked to the car, I could hear Mother's voice floating through the dining room window. Well, I suppose we'll need to rework the seating chart again, and someone will have to give the anniversary toast now. Some things never change, but this time, I wouldn't be there to witness it. And for once, that was entirely my choice. The morning after the disastrous family dinner, my publisher called. I put her on speaker so Paisley could listen as she made coffee in my kitchen. Gabriella, the early reviews are incredible. Sarah gushed. People are calling it raw, unflinching, a masterpiece of family dysfunction. We're pushing up the release date by 2 days to maximize impact. 2 days before the anniversary instead of on it, Paisley asked, sliding a mug toward me. Exactly. Sarah confirmed. The timing is perfect. We've already got 3 major morning shows. Interested in interviews? My phone buzzed with another call, Marlowe again. I ignored it. How are you holding up? Sarah asked. Family fallout can be rough. I started but was interrupted by pounding on my front door. Gabriella, open this door right now. Mother's voice carried through the house. I'll call you back, Sarah. I hung up as Paisley went to answer the door. Mother burst in, clutching her tablet. Have you seen these preview reviews? Have you seen what people are saying? Good morning to you too, Mother. Don't you dare take that tone with me. She thrust the tablet in my face. Look at this. A searing indictment of privileged family dynamics. A mother's casual cruelty laid bare. Do you have any idea what this will do to us? Make you finally see me. See you? She laughed bitterly. All we've ever done is try to help you succeed. Who paid for your college? Who introduced you to publishers? Who forgot I existed unless they needed something? I cut in. Who made me feel like I was never good enough, never important enough, never worthy of basic consideration? You're being ridiculous, Paisley. She turned to my daughter. Talk sense into your mother. Paisley crossed her arms. I helped her write the book. Mother sank onto my couch, pressing her fingers to her temples. This isn't happening. The anniversary is in 2 weeks. Everyone will be there. The mayor, the governor's wife, all our friends. Perfect audience for a book launch, Paisley muttered. My phone rang again, Trey this time. Mother grabbed it before I could, putting it on speaker. Gabriella, the morning shows want interviews with all of us, he said without preamble. They're calling it a family reckoning story. Absolutely not, Mother snapped. Mother. Trey sounded surprised. Are you at Gabriella's? Trying to prevent our family's complete social destruction. Yes. I took my phone back. No interviews, Trey. The book speaks for itself. Then speak to me now, Mother demanded. Tell me what you want. Money, a bigger role in the anniversary, your own party. I want you to understand what you did, what you all did, what we did. She stood up, smoothing her skirt. We gave you everything, except love, Paisley said quietly. Except basic kindness. Mother's phone chimed. She glanced at it, her face paling. Your father just got a call from the country club. They want to postpone our anniversary reception until this family matter is resolved. Postpone? I couldn't help smiling, but it's tradition, Mother. You can't break tradition. You're enjoying this, she accused. You want to hurt us. No, Mother, I want you to feel what I felt. Every forgotten birthday, every dismissed achievement, every time you made me give speeches celebrating your love while ignoring mine, I want you to understand. By humiliating us publicly, by telling the truth publicly. Her phone chimed again. Marlowe's flight is delayed. She says the London papers want to run excerpts from your book. International coverage, Paisley whistled. Impressive, Mom. Mother sank back onto the couch. What do you want me to say? That we were terrible parents? That we failed you? I want you to say you see me. Really see me. I see you now, she whispered. I see what you're capable of. That's not what I meant. She stood up again, gathering her purse. Well, you've certainly made your point. I hope this book brings you whatever closure you're looking for. But don't expect to be welcomed back after this. Back where, Mother, I was never really there to begin with. At the door she paused. You know, I always thought your sensitivity was your greatest weakness. Now I see it's your most dangerous weapon. After she left, Paisley hugged me. You okay? My phone buzzed with a text from Sarah. Good morning. America wants you tomorrow. You ready to tell your story to the world? I looked at Paisley, then at the text. You know what? I think I finally am. Good. Paisley smiled. Because Grandma's right about one thing. Your sensitivity isn't a weakness, it's your superpower. I picked up my phone to reply to Sarah, feeling lighter than I had in years. It was time for the invisible daughter to finally be seen. And this time, everyone would be watching. The day of the anniversary arrived with a storm of text messages and missed calls. I sat in my study watching the chaos unfold through my phone screen, while Paisley monitored social media. Your Good Morning America interview has over 1 million views, she announced. And the art of invisibility is trending. My phone buzzed again. Marlowe, the caterers are threatening to cancel. Mother's having a meltdown. Where are you? I set my phone aside and picked up the carefully wrapped package on my desk. Inside was a single copy of my memoir, bound in elegant black leather with gold lettering. Ready? Paisley asked, watching me run my fingers over the cover. Almost. I opened the book to the dedication page and added one final handwritten note. The doorbell rang. We both knew who it would be. I'll get it, Paisley said, but I stopped her. No, let me. Marlowe stood on my doorstep, mascara smeared and hair disheveled. A sight I'd never seen before. You have to come with me right now. Hello to you too. This isn't funny, Gabriella. The governor's wife just canceled. The local news is parked outside our parents' house. Father's locked himself in his study and Mother, she paused, catching her breath. Mother's crying. I've never seen her cry. That makes two of us. Please. Marlowe's voice cracked. Just come fix this. Fix what exactly? The truth? She grabbed my arm. Do you know what it's like in that house right now? Everyone's arriving, asking questions, whispering about your book. Mother can barely hold it together. Trey's wife is running interference with the guests. But what? The perfect family image is cracking? Is that what you wanted to break us? I held up the wrapped book. No, I wanted to wake us up. Marlowe stared at the package. What's that? My anniversary gift. Make sure it gets placed on the gift table. You're really not coming. I'll be there, just not when you expect me. She took the package, hands trembling slightly. Mother will never forgive you for this. Maybe not, but I'll finally be able to forgive myself. After she left, Paisley showed me her phone. Uncle Trey's wife just posted, family is complicated but love should be simple. Praying for healing tonight. Vanessa always did love her platitudes, I said, checking my watch. Time to get ready. Paisley nodded. Operation Crash. The party is a go. 2 hours later, we pulled up to my parents' house. Cars lined the street, and I could see the party in full swing through the large windows. Classical music drifted out into the evening air. Look, Paisley pointed to the news van, trying to be inconspicuous at the corner. You're making quite a splash. We slipped in through the side entrance, my old teenage sneaking route. The house was packed with familiar faces, all trying to act normal while clearly burning with curiosity. There's your book, Paisley whispered, nodding toward the gift table where my black-wrapped package sat prominently displayed. I checked my phone. One new message from Trey. Mother's about to give the speech you were supposed to give. Last chance to make this right. Perfect timing, I murmured, stepping into the shadows of the grand staircase. Mother took her place at the front of the room, champagne glass in hand. Her voice shook slightly as she began. For 50 years, our family has stood as a testament to love, loyalty, and tradition. I moved through the crowd, which parted silently as they recognized me. Mother's voice faltered as she saw me approach. Gabriella, she whispered, gripping her glass tighter. You came. I reached for my package on the gift table. I wouldn't miss it. After all, isn't that what family does, shows up? The room went deadly quiet as I unwrapped the book. Mother's eyes fixed on the gold lettering, then on my face. Would you like to know what I wrote in the dedication? I asked loud enough for everyone to hear. She shook her head slightly, but I opened the book anyway. To my mother I read, who taught me that being invisible doesn't mean you don't exist. It just means you have to shine brighter to be seen. I placed the book in her trembling hands. Happy anniversary, Mother. I hope you finally see what I've been trying to show you all these years. The silence in the room was deafening. Somewhere a camera clicked, probably the society photographer, capturing the moment the perfect family facade finally cracked. But for the first time in my life, standing there in front of everyone, I didn't feel invisible at all. I felt illuminated. Mother's hands shook as she opened the book, her eyes scanning the first page. The room remained frozen, watching, waiting. Even the string quartet had stopped playing. Perhaps, Father's voice cut through the silence as he stepped forward. We should take this somewhere private. No, I said firmly. We've had enough privacy, enough secrets, enough pretending. Trey moved toward me. Gabriella, don't what? I turned to face the crowd. Don't tell them how you all forgot my college graduation because it conflicted with Mother's garden party. Don't mention how Marlo told my first publisher I was just playing at being a writer. That's not fair, Marlo protested. I was trying to protect you from disappointment. Protect me? I laughed. By making me feel worthless, Mother suddenly slammed the book shut. Enough. This is our anniversary celebration, not your therapy session. Actually, Paisley stepped forward. It's both. Because guess what, Grandma? Your perfect family image, it's hurting everyone, not just Mom. What do you mean? Vanessa asked softly. Why do you think I never bring my kids to family events? Paisley's voice carried across the room. Because I don't want them learning that love is conditional. That they have to earn their place in the family by performing like trained seals. A murmur rippled through the crowd. I saw the governor's wife lean in to whisper to her husband. The society photographer's camera clicked rapidly. I gave you everything. Mother's voice cracked. The best schools, the best opportunities, everything except acknowledgement, I finished. Everything except love. Love. She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a fierce whisper. You think this book is love? Humiliating us in front of everyone we know? No, Mother. This book is truth, and sometimes truth hurts more than lies. Father cleared his throat. I read the advance copy. Everyone turned to stare at him. Mother's face went pale. You what? She whispered. Last night I couldn't sleep. He looked at me, really looked at me, maybe for the first time in years. She's right, Prudence, about all of it. Roy, don't you dare. Your 16th birthday, he continued, his voice growing stronger. You wore that blue dress, waited all day for us to remember. I saw you sitting on the porch until midnight. I saw you, and I did nothing. Tears spilled down my cheeks. You saw me. I always saw you. I just didn't know how to reach you. It was easier to follow your mother's lead to maintain the image she wanted. The image I wanted, Mother's voice rose. I built this family. I protected us, gave us status, made us what we are. And what are we, Mother? Marlo suddenly asked. Because from where I'm standing, we're just really well-dressed strangers who share DNA. Trey stepped forward, his face troubled. The book, it mentions the Christmas I got engaged. How we announced it at family dinner. Right after Gabriella told us about her first book deal. You said, that's nice dear, but wait until you hear Trey's news. I quoted. I remember every word. I didn't. He swallowed hard. I never meant to overshadow you. None of you meant to, I said softly. That's what makes it worse. It was so natural, so normal to forget I existed. The room had grown so quiet, you could hear the ice melting in abandoned champagne glasses. Mother stood rigid. The book clutched to her chest like a shield. What do you want from us? She finally asked. I want you to read it, I said, pointing to the book. Really read it. Try to understand. And maybe, just maybe, think about why your perfect daughter chose to become a writer. Why did you? Vanessa asked. Because writers can't be ignored. Their words demand to be seen, to be heard. I smiled sadly. I had to write myself into existence. Mother opened the book again, this time to the final page. Her lips moved silently as she read the last lines. In the end, she read aloud, her voice trembling. The art of invisibility taught me the most important lesson of all. Sometimes you have to disappear completely before anyone notices you were there in the first place. She looked up at me, and for the first time in my life, I saw something crack in her perfect facade. A tear rolled down her cheek, smearing her immaculate makeup. I notice you now, she whispered. I know, I said quietly. That's why I wrote the book. The string quartet began to play again. A soft, melancholic piece that seemed to capture the moment perfectly. As guests awkwardly returned to their conversations, I watched my mother sink into a chair, open the book, and begin to read. Sometimes, the loudest statements are made in complete silence. The morning sun streamed through my office window as I sorted through the mountain of mail on my desk. Fan letters, interview requests, and speaking invitations had been pouring in since the book's release. My phone buzzed. Another text from Mother. "Are you free for tea this afternoon?" These invitations had become frequent since the anniversary party. Each one felt like a small step towards something new, something real. I texted back, 3 p.m. "Perfect. I'm bringing scones and your birthday present." I smiled, remembering how she'd shown up at my door the morning after the party, eyes red from reading all night. She hadn't said much, just handed me a stack of my childhood drawings she'd kept hidden away in her study. Each one was dated, preserved, treasured, proving she'd seen me all along, even if she hadn't known how to show it. The doorbell rang. Paisley walked in, carrying newspapers. "You're still making headlines, Mom. Good ones or bad ones?" "Both. Society pages are scandalized, but literary critics are calling you brave." She spread the papers across my desk. "Oh, and Aunt Marlowe's interview just dropped." I picked up the magazine with Marlowe's face on the cover. The headline read, "Family Secrets, a Sister's Response to the Art of Invisibility." "Have you read it?" I asked. "You should." Paisley pointed to a highlighted quote. "My sister's book forced me to confront my own role in our family's dysfunction. It's easy to dismiss someone's pain when you're part of the system causing it." My phone buzzed again. Trey this time. "Having dinner with Vanessa's family tonight. First time in years. Your book made me realize what we've been missing." The front door opened and Father's voice called out. "Hello, anyone home?" He appeared in my office doorway, looking uncomfortable but determined. "I brought something for you." He placed a small box on my desk. Inside was a delicate silver bracelet. "I bought this for your 16th birthday, he said quietly. "Never found the courage to give it to you. Seemed easier to pretend I'd forgotten like everyone else." "Why now?" "Because I'm tired of pretending." He cleared his throat. "Your book, it showed me what courage really looks like." Paisley squeezed my hand as I fastened the bracelet around my wrist. My phone lit up with a text from Vanessa. "Book club chose your memoir for next month. Would you consider joining us? Trey wants to come too." Another message popped up. This one from Marlowe, "London book tour next month. Stay with me? We have 30 years of conversations to catch up on. Look at that." Paisley grinned. The invisible woman becomes impossible to ignore. The doorbell rang again. This time it was Mother, early for tea, clutching a gift bag and looking nervous. "I couldn't wait," she said, stepping into my office. "I need to show you something." She pulled out a leather-bound calendar. "I'm rewriting history," she announced, opening it to reveal dates marked in her precise handwriting. "Every birthday, every achievement, every moment I should have celebrated but didn't. I'm filling them in one by one." "Mother, I know it doesn't fix the past," she continued quickly, "but maybe it can help build a better future. One where we all see each other clearly." Father picked up one of the newspapers, reading aloud. "In exposing her family's flaws, author Gabriella creates a mirror for all of us to examine our own blind spots. They got that right." Paisley said, "Grandma, did you know my friend's mother started family therapy after reading Mom's book?" Mother smiled slightly. "The governor's wife told me the same thing at her garden party. Apparently, we've started quite the revolution in our social circle." "Speaking of social circles," I said, "what about the country club's anniversary reception?" "Cancelled," Mother replied. I decided some traditions aren't worth keeping." She opened the calendar again, pointing to today's date. "I thought instead, we might start a new tradition. Family tea every Wednesday, if you'll have us." I looked around my office, at Father fidgeting with his tie, at Paisley beaming with pride, at Mother nervously clutching her calendar of second chances. My phone kept buzzing with messages from Marlowe, Trey, Vanessa, all part of this imperfect, evolving family constellation. "I'll get the cups," I said, standing up. "Paisley, help me with the tea." As we headed to the kitchen, I heard Mother say to Father, "Look at these reader letters. Our daughter did something extraordinary." "Our daughter," he repeated softly. "Yes, she did." I caught my reflection in the kitchen window, no longer invisible, no longer forgotten, just seen, finally and completely, for exactly who I am. And that, more than any book deal or headline, felt like the greatest success of all.